I have a little bit of experience when it comes to fleet management with trucks, and specifically around the sugar mills. Now, what the sugar mills have, carrier trucks have got fleet management systems in them. Essentially, it's a tracking system, a GPS system, that tells the truck operators at their home base, or wherever the truck is based from, exactly where their truck is. Now, what happens with the carriers going in and out of the sugar mills, for example, is the sugar mill has a contract with the truck or the carrier company to say, you have to deliver X amount of loads to the mill, and that's your contract. Because then what happens is the mill pays the cane operator, like Tom Larkula, for example, pays them per ton of sugar that they drop off at the mill. It works backwards as well. If the truck is waiting and queuing for X amount of time, what happens is the sugar content inside the cane decreases, therefore the value of the cane decreases. So the truck operators need to know how long their trucks are queuing for, because if they're queuing for longer than expected, they start then fining the mill. The same thing will work with the containers and the shipyards. The carriers will have a contract with the shipyard to say, we have to offload X amount of containers this week, or we have to take away X amount of containers this week. So my suggestion to you would be, in terms of coming up with an application for the vehicles, is to say, understand how the current systems are operating, because that'll give you an idea of what information the carrier needs, and B, what either the mill or the dock requires. Because they'll start scheduling trucks to come in at certain times, and they'll have queuing zones. Those queuing zones that's the time that you need to try and reduce, because that increases profitability. Once a truck is not operating, the operator is losing out on profit, because that truck is not being used. It's sitting there, in fact it's costed. The truck is burning fuel, because they're not allowed to turn off the truck in a queuing zone. The truck has to be on the entire time. Those costs, I'm not sure how much you know about the costs of operating a truck, but it's exponential. The amount of fuel that a truck uses just in idle is roughly between 15 and 20 liters an hour, just in idle. So that truck is burning a ton of fuel by sitting there. So you need to try and work out your scheduling, as the lady suggested, is probably a good idea. But the way that the two of you could probably come together would be to understand, A, where the truck is leaving from, how long that route is going to take. But they are planning, you are planning loads of them, but it's how to merge the two together. That's going to be your idea. Because there are those little elements that are floating around, but it's how to bring them and unite them together is going to be a good opportunity for you. The other way to look at it is to get the dockyard to start setting up their schedules, so that the carriers are able to understand, okay, there's a free gap at 5 in the morning. I need to make sure that my container arrives at the dock at 5. So what way do I get there? So you need to get the two sort of talking together, and that's going to be the best way for both parties to win, because essentially you need the carriers and the dockyard to understand their routes and their timing schedules, and that way you're going to get something worthwhile.
That is fantastic. Thank you very much. I think that was
no, I was just gonna say, like, with the scheduling app, what if we group the trucks, like, in terms of what he's talking about, like, basically trucks that will actually cost more to like, if they stay idle, and then you start with those trucks, or trucks that are going to be like carrying cargo that basically gets damaged if it's chilling for too long. Like, basically schedule them like that and we group them into these different groups as they come in.
That's a fantastic idea. We need to optimize that schedule. Shamisha's got something she wants to add.
Hi, my name is Shamista. I just want to expand on your idea. Looking at scheduling and time management, you should have an app that tracks the amount of time that you take to offload and unload. And if you take too long, you can pay a penalty. And if you do it in the right amount of time, you get a reward. So in that way, you can also bring an income towards the port as in revenue. And depending on the type of cargo, so if it's diamonds, so maybe give you more time for that, and for different cargoes, less time. So you can work out the timing and the penalties according to the cargo. Yep.
Yes. Yes, let me, one